Thank you for tuning into the Eld Henderson Real News Show, issues, views, and solutions. The Eld Henderson Real News Show is designed for you to listen, learn, and invest your knowledge and skills in your community. The show's format will be clear and direct. Each show will identify a problem. It will determine who benefits from the problem. The show will also determine who is the victim. And finally, we will show you how to create a prioritized action plan for success that can change your life, family status, and community in 30, 60, 90 days guaranteed. The Eld Henderson Real News Show will identify, address, and teach you how to resolve problems in education, economics, politics, religion, community development, and local, state, national, and international affairs. So I want you to stay tuned for the Eld Henderson's Real News Show. Hello, viewers. This is Elderidge Henderson from the Eld Henderson Real News Show. Part of being successful is dressing for success. This is why I want to tell you about Pennywise Cleaners, who has been serving the Southwest Jackson community for over 3 years at 4590 Raymond Road in Jackson, Mississippi. Pennywise delivers friendly service with a smile. Whether drop-off, drive-through, or delivery, Pennywise has got you covered. All work is done on-site using state-of-the-art equipment to keep you sharp and clean. A penny saved is a penny earned. At Pennywise Cleaners, located at 4590 Raymond Road, Jackson, Mississippi. For more information, the number is 601-372-0097. Pennywise Cleaners is a proud sponsor of the Eld Henderson's Real News Show. Thank you, viewers, for tuning in to another edition of the Eld Henderson Real News Show. Today we have a community activist with us, a young lady from Utica, Mississippi, and her name is Miss Vogel Denise Newsome. She is a former legal specialist. She has been doing legal work for some years, and she's now back in Utica, Mississippi, and I'm glad to have you, Miss Newsome. I understand that you are thinking about doing certain things in the community that are going to be bringing forth some real news to people, and you are going to address issues and come up with solutions that can help people change their lives. Now, you tell us what you are going to be doing, how long you're going to be doing it, and what results do you see, and then we'll get into the details after you tell us something about your early childhood.
Well, thank you, Dr. Henderson, for having me on your show. My name is Vogel Denise Newsome. I'm a community activist, and I was actually a military brat. So I was born in Germany. My parents brought us back here in 1972, where we were raised in Utica, Mississippi, where I went on to be one of the top athletes in track and field from Utica, Mississippi. My parents didn't have a lot of money, so what they said, if you go to college, you have to pay for it yourself. So what I decided to do was become one of the fastest athletes in Utica, Mississippi. So I ran my way out of Utica on a full track and field scholarship. I was blessed to receive a scholarship at Mississippi Valley State University. I went there for 2 years. After 2 years, I then transferred to Florida A&M University in Tallahassee, Florida. After that, I moved to Texas. That's where I pretty much started. I guess things just started taking off from there. For about 10 or 15 years, I have been doing paralegal work for these, what I would say, big prominent white law firms. But now what I want to do is get out in the community and put to work what they taught me. Because I'm finding that many of our people, African Americans, blacks, do not really have that legal background, and they don't know what their rights are. So I'm out here putting to work what I learned, not only there, but what they taught me at Florida A&M University and at Mississippi Valley State University, to see what we can do to bring about a change in our communities.
Okay, Ms. Newsome, now before we get into the specifics, I want to get on you about leaving the state of Mississippi, leaving the great Mississippi Valley State and getting your last few years of college at Texas, Louisiana, right? Florida A&M. Mm-hmm. Now, why would you leave the great state of Mississippi and go to Florida A&M?
Well, this is what happened. I'm one of those people, you talk to me, you do not fuss at me. And after 2 years, I was ranking in the United States as one of the top athletes in the 600 meters as well as the long jump. So I was with top athletes like Jackie Joyner-Kersee. And I wound up scratching out in the long jump. The first time. I've never done that in my track and field history. And I got chewed out publicly at a track meet by the coach. You do not fuss at me, you talk to me. So after that, I guess that's where it all started. My sister was going to Valley at the same time. And she asked, was I going to return in the fall? I said, no, I'm on strike. I had no clue where I was going to go. At that time, Florida State was interested in me, and also Texas A&M. But I was determined to go what I say, black, HBCU. So I started out at Valley. And I was sitting there at the house when my homeboy came through. And he told me he was offered a job at Florida A&M University. Of course, I never even heard of Florida A&M. All I knew was SWAC, Grambling, Alcorn, Jackson State, and Valley. So when he told me that Florida A&M was black, I said, I'll go with you. And I wound up at Florida A&M University.
Okay, well, that's a good start. Now, being a community activist, usually that happens to someone because of something that transpired in their life as a negative. Now, what caused you to get into the community active work when you were a legal assistant for years working with some of the big law firms in America, and especially in various states?
Well, I'm glad you asked that question, because my parents, they were taboo in regards to civil rights, so we never really heard the discussions or anything like that in the house. And when they moved us to Mississippi, of course, I was just shocked. We would have to catch the bus at the end of the road. And here was this bus coming through Utica, going on to Rebel Academy, and there would be white children on that bus with those racial slurs. And I said, this is unacceptable. So I had made up my mind that I'm going to go to a black college or university. So experiences like that impacted why I wound up going to an HBCU. Because I wanted to make sure that when I get educated, I want the information put in here right. I did not want it tainted the way the white man wanted me to think. I wanted to be able to have individuality, be able to think independently and not controlled thinking. So it was just that. But another one that also changed my life was I didn't even know what the N-word was. I got called the N-word when we were stationed in El Paso, Texas, and I didn't know. My brother said, oh, she called you, that word. And I said, well, he made it sound so bad. I said, well, I'll take care of her after school. So I waited for her after school, and I worked her over in good fashion.
Now, wait a minute. Now, you're almost saying that you gave her a good whipping.
I gave her a thorough thrashing.
Good, wonderful, wonderful. That's what you're supposed to do.
And when I went home, I was exhausted from the little fight, because I was skinny. People say I'm skinny now, but she was a little chunky. She had some weight on her. And when I went home, my mom fed me, and while I was asleep, the military police came over to the house. And see, my dad did not play fighting at school. If you fight at school, you were going to get a spanking when you got home. And when I woke up, they said, oh, you're going to get in trouble. The police has been here. When I went out, my dad asked me what happened. I told my dad what had happened. He said, daughter, you're justified. To this day, I wear it as a badge of honor. I went back to the room proudly.
Okay, well, that's a good start. I see you're accustomed to beating up on people that take advantage of you, and you're a winner, and I want to say congratulations. I want you to continue doing that, no matter what size that person is that's violating your human dignity. You put a whipping on them that can take you to court, and I hope you win when you get there. And since you have a good legal background, you probably will win. Now, let's look at some serious things here. Now, what do you want to do, what you want the people to know about you that you will be impacting in this world? Now, we know there are a lot of issues in religion, politics, economics, human rights, and others. Are you concerned about specific issues? And if so, you tell us what you are concerned about and one or two issues as to what you're going to address first.
Okay. I am a community activist. As I clarified when I talk to the young people in the community, that's where my heart and passion is, because I love our people just that much. I am not prejudiced, but I'm a community activist, so I like to keep it real. I like to target projects as they adversely impact blacks, the African American, and people of color. Okay? So for instance, in Utica, where I live, when I came back almost 2 years ago, I went up on the Utica Junior College campus, and there's just things I found out that to me was unacceptable. For instance, Hines Community College taking over HBCU. This is a predominantly white college taking over HBCU, a historically black college or university. Again, as you share with my paralegal legal skills, I said, yes, this is worth looking into. Because not only that, because of my experience, I pretty much had an idea who the culprits were behind writing the legislation and laws. to get around what I call the Ku Klux Klan Act. Laws are in place to protect the people, like the Ku Klux Klan Act. For those who don't know, they may remember a civil rights leader by the name of Malcolm X. Well, he said there's going to be a time that we're going to pull off those hoods. Well, that's what I'm out here in the community doing, pulling off the hoods, exposing these people who are behind the scenes trying to take down these black communities and the infrastructures that's there. So there in Utica, for instance, I will be working on, from my understanding, they want to shut down the whole campus to turn it into a private satellite prison. I'm going to be addressing issues like that to let the citizens know what their legal and lawful rights are in regards to taking back control of that campus. As I shared in a meeting in October in Utica, Mississippi, is that if it could thrive up under a white name, it should have been able to thrive up under HBCU. They're still getting the funding.
Okay, Ms. Newsome, now you're saying they're going to potentially change the current educational status and make it into a prison. Now, are you sure you know what you're talking about, or this is just something you heard, or you had a dream about this one night, and that vision came to you that it was going to happen? And if so, when did it say it was going to happen?
Well, this is the feedback that I have, when you're out in the community, you hear because you're wondering what's going on. So, for instance, when I went up on the campus shortly after returning, and I didn't see but like maybe 3 buses up at the school picking up the children, I went to my parents and I asked what happened. They said, you haven't heard they're closing the high school. I said, oh no, I didn't know about that. But again, then just checking into a few things. Then I was told that there was a vice president sitting there by the name of Deborah Mays Jackson. When she came in, there was a lot of firing, terminations, things going on. So you have to start paying attention and watching things, because there is a process in which, what I say, these groups like to work. And when I say when you're trying to avoid Ku Klux Klan Act laws, what you do, you put yourself in a nice position where you can write the legislation and laws to succeed in what your plans are, that nobody will ever see the prisons coming. And I'm sure you're probably aware that these prisons now are being taken over or being purchased by white investment, private investors, okay? So when you have that and you know that, and our HBCUs are being targeted for shutdowns, I'm not talking about Mississippi State University, Ole Miss, or University of Southern Mississippi. We're talking about Mississippi Valley State University, because in 1982, before I transferred to Florida A&M, I had heard plans that they were intending to shut that university down to build a prison there. One thing I've learned is that they don't stop there. If they lose one way, they find another way to get in there and see what they can do to take us down.
Well, that has been the history of the leaders in the United States of America, to deny and deprive the underserved people in a way they can. They take your property, violate your voting rights, they will put you in prison, and if you don't come up with some corrective action plans, as you are doing, and be specific about it and give a timeline and a checklist of what you want to do and put it in a segment of 30, 60, or 90 days, I guarantee you nothing's going to happen. And I've been watching and listening to you for some months now, and it appears that you're about to do this. Or you in contact on the state and national level through any organizations? And I don't want you to answer this right now, but in a few minutes we're going to take a break. And I want you to think about who you are working with on the state and national level. And I understand you also have some international aspirations, and you're going to be contacting certain people. It appears, Ms. Newsome, that you are getting ready to change some covers here in this state and the nation. Are you prepared for the short stops that you're going to be facing in the next 30, 60, or 90 days? I'm going to be telling you right now, as we wrap up, that our listeners are going to be pleased to hear what you're going to do, one way or the other. The Action Leadership Institute has office space for rent at North Jackson off I-55 South at 5435 Executive Place Office Park, located in a high-traffic count area. There are 4 offices available, 1 office space, 650 square feet, 3 offices, 150 square feet each. All are available today with first month free and deposit. Ideal spot for established businesses and startups such as law and tax offices, insurance companies, boutiques, counseling centers, Again, the address is 5435 Executive Place, Office Park, shown by appointments only. The number is 601-201-1957. Thank you, viewers, for staying with the Elderidge Henderson Real News Show. We have Miss Newsome here, and we are going to get back with her. Ms. Newsome, I understand that you do have some problems and some solutions to some of the issues you're going to be addressing. We talked about the HBCUs and what is happening there, that there are possible changes in certain areas. I don't know whether this is a rumor or whether it's fact. It makes no difference. You are one knowing about it and you're talking about it. But at this point, are there any other specific problems you intend to address, and what kind of solutions do you have to these problems? I believe if you have a problem, you have to find out who is suffering from that problem, and then you have to find out who is gaining a benefit, and of course you have to come up with a solution to address it. Now, which one are you ready to attack now?
Well, I'm ready to address quite a few of the ones that you asked. And I'm glad you asked that question because before the break, actually wanted, like I said, I'm going to just talk briefly in regards to the Utica Junior College issue. You know, we are on that, working on that aggressively, because just like they were very subtle in coming in with their approach, not letting the citizens of Utica or those parents sending those children in, creating situations and problems. You can always create problems when you have a plan, okay, especially when you want the land. And you know about anything, Dr. Henderson, revolutions, different things, wars, it's always been about the land, okay? And Utica Junior College sits on a nice piece of land. So we're going to be addressing those issues. But not only that, here in Jackson, Mississippi, Utica, these heavily black populated towns, we're having, for instance, the pothole issues. This is what people are bringing concerns to me. They're taking our tax dollars, but they aren't repairing our streets. So kicking in as a paralegal, former legal assistant, I like to let them know what their rights are. Let's address our council members, our city council members, because if your tax dollars are being taken out for that, find out where that money is being allocated. If you promise to repair the streets with that, find out where it's at. If it's not, then that's called misappropriation of funds. That money is being embezzled somewhere. I can go down a whole list of things. But the citizens have a right to find out where that money's going. And this is where the mistake is being made. Once these politicians get in office, for some reason, they think they're the citizens' employers. No. We're their employers. So say, for instance, Dr. Henderson, if we put you in as the mayor of Jackson and you promised all these things about getting our streets repaired and you don't get the job done, and if you're taking all these little deals up under the table from these private lobbyists, then you are not working for the people. And it's time for you.
Wait, I must cut you off now. If I were mayor of any city and wanted to promote my tenure to get enough years to retire, I would think about what has been done historically, and this is what's been done historically. I've said it many times. You get elected to an office for 4 years, you study the problem for 3 years, 3.5 years, the last 6 months in that 4th year, you then tell people that I've done the study and we're going to do the following and I need 4 more years. You get elected, ma'am, and then you tell the people that we have a new administration because most of the old people have lost their election. We got new ones. We're going to give it to another committee and look at the potholes, the infrastructure, and other matters that you all have been addressing. And I'm going to get a new committee together, get me some experts from out of the state, and we are going to come up with a real plan, and I guarantee you all in just a little while, we are going to solve the problem. So that's giving the politician another 2 years, and after 2 years, with folks like you bringing it to his attention or her attention, they're going to put it on the table again. Then they're going to get a city council person to say, Mr. Mayor, I support what you're doing, but we're going to table this for a while. That's going to take a year, and on and on and on. And when you know anything, your problems are going to be worse, Ms. Newsome. And then the person that's in office will get ready to retire, and then you will still be out there hollering and squalling. So now if you don't have some solutions for this kind of scenario, you better tell the folks right now how you're going to address these politicians that I call lifetime non-servants
to the people.
Dr. Henderson, you sound like a true politician. And that's why I tell people I'm not a politician. I'm a community activist. So I'm here to deal with the things, again, as they adversely impact the people. It sounds good with the plan that you laid out. Oh, no. These issues were here before. Let's say, for instance, we put you in as the mayor. This was before. This is what you promised. What the people need to realize, that you are a public official. That means you work for us. For some reason, they get in there and think that once they get up in what they call that clique of these people paying them and telling them what to do rather than working for the people, they get a little nervous or shaky. They need to realize that they are public officials. They are there working on behalf of the people. Where are the tax dollars going? What are the people asking for? If you promised it, then that's what we want. Okay, so what I share with them when I'm out there, we don't have to wait 4 years. Ms. Newsome will show you all within a year's time how to get them out. When we collectively come together, unite together, it's the voice of the people that matters. You work for us. And if you can't get the job done in a short period of time, then we will get you out of there. See, there's this confusion going on that these politicians feel that for some reason that they're our employers.
Ms. Newsome, let me tell you something now. I think you're a little off base, and as a guest, I don't suppose to tell you this, but you must understand that politicians have families, they have bills, and it's legal for a politician and a preacher to get money from outside sources if it's legal. The politicians have passed a law, and I've been telling people this for some years now, called the Political PACS, P-A-C-T-S. You know about it. And they can illegally take money from anyone that will give it to them. They can put it in a campaign fund and run over and over and over, and any money not spent, they can spend it for personal needs. And you think this is going to be something that's going to be reneged on in the future? Of course not. That's why we need folks like you. But you have to either keep the people in office and let them procrastinate until they can retire, or folks like you going to have to get in there and run for office, declare what you're going to do, and actually do it. Now, I bet you probably have some secret aspirations to run for something in Hinds County or the state of Mississippi. What about it?
No, sir, I am not. I have no intentions to run. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because I'm sure this may be your first response in regards to what you just said. Again, you are a public official. I'm familiar with PAC, okay? But just like you said, these politicians have family, children. So do we as citizens and residents. We have family. We have children. We are paying tax dollars. We're expecting these things to be done. Over a period of time, when you see your city and your communities being decayed or rotting down, using laws like integration and desegregation to take down the communities, there was a method and a process really put out there, well planned, that just like the Indians, they didn't see the reservations coming. Integration, desegregation, we didn't see the dilapidation of our communities. So no, sir, I'm not here to play patty cake with these politicians that have family. They should have thought about it when they ran for office and put out all these false promises. The people now want action. Enough of this talk. Enough of the talk. We are wanting action, and all I'm out here is letting them know. And I'm keeping it real. Have you heard of the Declaration of Independence?
I've heard about it.
Okay. Did you know that we talk about political corruption, right?
Right.
We talk about judicial injustice. Do you know, for instance, under the Declaration of Independence, that we can take control of the government? In other words, like I said, you're a public official. Your job is to get in there and work on behalf of the people. You talk about PAC, you talk about lobbyists. Again, what did you promise the people? Who's paying you? So if you sell yourself out to these lobbyists and you go in there contrary to what you promised, then I just want the people to know the truth, what their legal rights are. Again, by law. Serve you notice. Like this patty cake they're playing with this mayor up in Chicago, I'm going to leave that alone.
The mayor where?
Up in Chicago.
Right.
Keep playing patty cake with him, but no. You as the citizens and the residents, it's your votes, as they say, that put them in there, right? Your votes. So this is a public official that's supposed to be in office working on our behalf.
All right, Ms. Newsom. Well, what is the problem in Chicago? What has the mayor done?
Oh, like I said, now, when you talk about Chicago, for instance, when that report, for instance, I'm just going to deal with the last one.
Okay.
The Laquan McDonald incident that happened in 2014. But nobody found out about this young man being shot 16 times, until the latter part of last year, and then the cover-up. What does this mayor do? What does he do? He basically uses what I call the scapegoat, get rid of the chief or whatever. No, the problem lies with you. And I remember Rahm Emanuel when he was chief of staff for Barack Obama. Let's just put it this way. They know who this community activist is. Because like I said, I did not play patty cake when he was chief of staff for Barack Obama, and neither do I play patty cake with Barack Obama. Barack Obama knows who I am, then our people need to know. I voted for you, Barack Obama, but just like I shared with you, get in there and don't do right by the people and see what happens with this country. Again, I'm not convinced by because they look like us. See, this is the game they play. Put it in there. As long as they look like us, something, see, there's this mental issue with black people. If they look like us, then what they'll do, they must mean us well.
Okay, Ms. Newsome, let me tell you, we're going to be breaking soon. The show is going to end, but I want you to understand that Obama will have 8 years in just a year. He cares less about what the people want, and you're going to have to deal with one of three people. You're going to have to deal with Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton, or Bernie Sanders, or maybe one of those Hispanics that's running for president of the United States. Now, are you prepared to continue? We're going to wrap this thing up, and I want you to tell the viewers how you're going to deal with those folks, because one of them will be president of the United States.
Well, right now, see, I'm not even, to me, that's a distraction. All that is foolishness. We don't even, our votes right now really do not count, okay? And that's the way I put it out on my blog and my social forums. In fact, the Obama administration, they've already come out to two on my website. I'm on the third one right now. Like I said, I'm not here to play patty cake. I'm not concerned about Hillary Clinton, this Bernie, or this Donald Trump. To me, that's a distraction. It's all foolishness. In other words, I'm here to make sure that under this despotism government we are presently operating under, that's what I see, is that we switch back over to a democracy where we are in control.
Well, Ms. Newsom, I tell you, you do sound that you're serious, but now you're going to have to think about the possibility of someone taking some actions against you. The history of America shows that when you take an adverse stand and get against the human enemies of mankind and the 1% that control the distribution, exchange system, and production, that you are not going to be given any positive light. Now, we are going to be wrapping up, and I want you to tell the viewers where they can talk to you, how they can see you, and when they can invite you to their communities, because I do know you do a lot of public speaking, and you are sort of radical, and nothing wrong with that. But I want to wish you well, so you tell the viewers how they can contact you.
Okay, I can be reached. My name is Vogel Denise Newsome. That's V-O-G-E-L, Denise Newsome, N-E-W-S-O-M-E, Post Office Box 31265, Jackson, Mississippi. My telephone number is 601-282-7119.
Get that number one more time. You're sort of fast.
601-282-7119. And just one quick thing. I'm not afraid of the Klan or any racist white supremacist group. Greater love has no man than this, than to lay down his life for a friend. God does not give us the spirit of fear. They have come after the wrong African and the wrong nation of people.
Okay, viewers, you heard it from Miss Newsom. She is a community activist. She believes in right versus wrong. She's going to make an effort to come up with solutions and change things in the state of Mississippi, probably in the nation. And when you hear about her in the next 5 or 6 years, she'll probably be on the international scene, raising hell and disturbing the peace and trying to get some positive reactions from the people throughout the world. And nothing wrong with that. So, Ms. Newsom, thank you for being with us, and good luck to you.
Thank you, Dr. Henderson.
Yes, right.
Hello, viewers. This is Elderidge Henderson from the L. Henderson Real News Show. Part of being successful is dressing for success. This is why I want to tell you about Pennywise Cleaners, who has been serving the Southwest Jackson community for over 3 years at 4590 Raymond Road in Jackson, Mississippi. Pennywise delivers friendly service with a smile, whether drop-off, drive-through, or delivery. Pennywise has got you covered. All work is done on-site using state-of-the-art equipment to keep you sharp and clean. A penny saved is a penny earned. at Pennywise Cleaners, located at 4590 Raymond Road, Jackson, Mississippi. For more information, the number is 601-372-0097. Pennywise Cleaners is a proud sponsor of the L. Henderson's Real News Show.